Hi, I'm Dennis DiCicco, Senior Editor of Sky and Telescope, with our continuing coverage here of the 2009 NEAF Conference in Suffern, New York. And I'm speaking now with Victor Aniceto, Vice President of Sales of Celestron. And Celestron's brought a lot of equipment here for people to see, but there's two things of special interest. They have two new mounts, which are basically being seen for the first time with the public here at NEAF. You want to tell me a little bit about them?
Sure, Dennis, thank you. What we have here, this is the CGE Pro mount. We just introduced earlier this year, and it features the biggest mount that Celestron have ever offered, and that is critical, and it's desirable to the astrophotographers.
What's the capacity on this mount?
The capacity is a 90-pound. It's a 90-pound load capacity.
90 pound on the telescope.
On the telescope itself.
All right. And I notice here, it's obviously got all the go-to features that have now become standard on the high-end mounts. And what about, you said astrophotographers, I think there's two features. The tracking accuracy on this is?
The tracking accuracy is 9 arc seconds out of the box, with its feature of the permanent periodic error correction.
So you can program, or you can teach it to even do better than 9 arc seconds.
You can get it down to about 5 arc seconds.
5 arc seconds. And one of the things for astrophotographers on a German equatorial mount is their ability to go beyond the meridian, to track over the meridian. And I can see from the stops that are on this that you've got an extended range.
Yes, you can go up, you can go beyond 2 hours.
2 hours.
Past the meridian.
So when you're doing astrophotography, that prime area of sky is when all the objects go over the meridian. You can keep going from any time beforehand to 2 hours past the meridian before you have to stop and reset them out.
That's right.
Oh, that's nice. Victor, I see you've got a couple of nice little features here. These look like very solid connections on the cables and not likely to have anything pull out in the middle of the night.
Yes, it's really one of those enhancements that we did on it. We put some DIN plugs on here in exchange for those RJ11s we used to have in the CGE mount. So it does make it a very solid connection for them.
And I see that you've got nice handles here. These are for the clutches on the right ascension and the declination axis?
Yes, these are each axis on this. We have 4-point clutch points on it, so that you can have even locking on all sides of the axis.
And you can get a really good grip on that with your hand to lock down on it.
Making it very secure.
All right, that's a nice mount. I can see you got all the fine adjustments here from being able to align it. You said that there was a polar alignment system worked into this?
Yes, it's what we call the all-star polar align, wherein you don't need to use Polaris as your alignment star, so that you can do accurate polar aligning, which is critical when you do astrophotography.
So you mean I can set this up in my driveway where I can't see Polaris because of the trees in the north, and I can use the all-star align to get an accurate alignment without looking at Polaris?
Yes, you can use any of the other stars. You can use Vega or Arcturus to use it for your accurate polar aligning. You don't need to use a polar alignment scope, incidentally, so that makes it an even enhancement for it.
All part of the computerized system to get this aligned.
That's right.
All right, there was a power management system that you have built in here. That is something in the tracking?
Yes, there's a power management feature on it for its electronics, making sure that even if the scope is not properly balanced or not fully balanced, these electronics that it has make sure that the power goes in, it's stable, and make sure that it will continue to track smoothly no matter what the load balance is.
Very nice. All right, so this is your biggest mount, but I know you've introduced another one here, which is a little bit smaller. You want to tell me about this one?
Yes. This is the CGEM series. This is CGEM mount, and it's on a series that features an 8-inch to an 11-inch telescope.
All right. And this has got what kind of load capacity?
This has got a 40-pound load capacity.
40 pounds, so it's a little less than half the other one. All right, and this has all got go-to functioning?
It's got go-to functioning on it, 40,000 object database. Also features the same Sky All-Star alignment system on it.
So once again, you don't have to see Polaris. Now, does this have a polar scope built in too?
It's not built in, it's an option.
It's an option, so you could use a polar scope if you wanted to do it that way.
Right.
That all-star alignment sounds like the route to take.
Right.
So I see you've got the dovetail on here, and you said it takes the 8 to the 11-inch telescope.
Right.
So it's just a matter of loosening up a couple of clamps, sliding off the telescope, putting it on.
Yes, and it also has one of the things. It's got the CGE or the wider rail on it, making it more stable, so that it'll even be better for more astrophotographers
All
out
right.
there.
I notice you got looks like about a 6-inch long grip here, maybe even a little bit longer on that dovetail. That's pretty good. You know the weight of the telescope when it breaks down, the equatorial head, how much it weighs?
The equatorial, it's 40 pounds.
40 pounds for that? So that makes it a pretty portable instrument.
Yes, yes. For what it is, you know, you can easily put an 11-inch telescope on this with all other accessories and even astro imaging equipment like cameras, and will easily handle that load.
And Victor, what about the cost of this instrument?
Great question. It's $13.99. It's a lot of telescope mount for the price.
So the tripod, the mount, the whole bit for $13.99.
Yes, absolutely.
Sounds very good. Now, we've looked at some of the bigger things, but I know you've got something here which is very small and also very exciting. You want to tell me about that?
Yes, you bet. Let's go over here.
All right. All right, so what have we got here? This is not the biggest telescope that I've seen today, but
It is not. It's close. Dennis, this is the first scope telescope. We just introduced this year in commemoration of the International Year of Astronomy.
so this is a working telescope,
It's absolutely a very good working telescope.
a little Newtonian reflector with a 3-inch aperture and a rack and pinion focuser and standard 1 1/4-inch eyepieces.
Yes.
And what's it come with?
It comes with two. It comes with a 20mm eyepiece and a 4mm eyepiece.
So the 20mm is magnification about 15?
About 15 power.
And the 4mm eyepiece will give you what kind of magnification?
75 power.
75. So that's great for looking at the moon. You can see the rings of Saturn, Jupiter's moons.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice. And this mount, this amazes me because this is a very stable little mount. I mean, most of the time when we've seen small telescopes, they're not on the best. This is a little like a modified Dobsonian, turns very nice. Look at this. 3 solid feet, you can set it down on a table. You've got your altitude adjustment here with a friction control. And I noticed that you have is there an option package with this?
Yes, there's an accessory kit
An
that you can buy later on that has 2 more eyepieces. It's got a CD on it, a DVD, and it also has a finder scope and a carrying bag, and also a moon filter.
A moon filter, so you can get all that. That's the accessories, but now I'm going to ask you the big question.
Okay.
How much do you have to pay for this?
Good question. $49.95.
$49.95.
Yes.
A working telescope with 2 eyepieces.
Yes.
Now to put this into perspective, I know that most of the inexpensive eyepieces that go 1 1/4-inch eyepieces that go in telescopes are in the order of $45 or $50 for inexpensive ones. So we're getting a whole telescope here and a couple of eyepieces to get people started.
Yes, and all that is because of the interest generated by the International Year of Astronomy and Celestron. We've put our efforts together so we can offer a telescope for everybody at a good price, and it doesn't break anybody's bank, but it gets people started into astronomy.
So Victor, tell me, if viewers want to find out a little bit more information about the telescopes that they see here and stuff that you have at Celestron, where can they go?
Go to celestron.com for more product information and where to get the product.
All right, thank you very much, Victor.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, Dennis.
I'm Dennis DiCicco for Sky and Telescope here at NEAF 2009. This is what it's all about, people having an opportunity to come see brand new equipment for the first time, first-hand look, get to try it out and see if they like it. Stay tuned for more information.